Welcome to the Verizon Residential Community Forums. My name is Craig Prawl, and I'm one of the community leaders in the Verizon Forums. And as the disclaimer video mentions, although these forums are hosted on a Verizon website, most of the content in the forums themselves and all the content in these videos are not made by Verizon. I go by the name of Capricorn 1 in the forums, but I'm only one of several community leaders that contribute to the forums. The majority of the posts in the Verizon forums are made by community leaders and other members of the community and customers just like you. Community leaders are not paid by Verizon. We are simply just other customers who've volunteered to help out the community with issues that they have. Now, there are a few Verizon employees that do help moderate the forums, but mostly they're there to keep things civilized and to get rid of things like trolls and spam postings. So what are the Verizon Residential Community Forums good for? They're very good for asking about questions on how to use your Verizon Internet, TV, landline phone services, especially in the areas where you're installing, configuring, upgrading, replacing equipment with those services, associated with those services, even if that equipment's not from Verizon. The other thing that I find the forums very helpful for, and one of the reasons I am a community leader, is that they're very good for sharing comments and posts on and how-to posts on things like features with a Verizon product that you found helpful. So these could be things like obscure or hard to find settings in a product, or how to disable or enable a particular feature. Another area where they're very handy is talking about any product that you found that really enhances your use of the Verizon services, whether that product actually came from Verizon or not. So what are the Verizon Residential Community Forums not good for? Well, they're not good for asking questions or posting complaints about billing, equipment rentals, missed service calls, and that sort of thing. Because as I mentioned before, while there are a few Verizon employees that monitor the forums, and those employees can forward a request to customer service on your behalf, you'll probably find it faster to either just use the Verizon online services found at the URL I'm showing here, or just call Verizon customer service directly at 1-800-VERIZON. Another thing the forums are not really good for is questions regarding Verizon's business Fios or business landline phone services. They have their own number and their own support service staff, and when I was a Verizon business Fios customer, I found those people to be very, very good, and you probably would want to call them directly if that's the issue you're having. Other thing that this forum is not good for are any questions regarding Verizon's wireless or cellular telephone service. That community has its own set of forums, and they are at the address here, https://community.verizonwireless.com. So assuming that you're still interested in joining the forums or being active in these forums, posting a question and the like, how do you go about getting started? Well, first, you just click on the forums link, which is down on the upper right of the screen that you're probably looking at right now. If you're already a Verizon residential customer and you have a residential account that you've signed up with and have a password with, you can use that right now to access the forums. You do that simply by signing in like you normally do. After clicking on the forums link, click the sign in button, and you will be, if you've never used it before, you will be asked later to set up a screen name that will be associated with your post. Your actual user ID, which is usually your email address, will not be used or will not be shown, at least in any of the postings. So if you're not a Verizon customer, you can still take part in the forums, but you have to join as essentially a community-only member. So to do that, you click on the gray circle on the lower right underneath the residential user ID login, click the register link, and then enter essentially a valid email address that you're going to use to have associated with your account. This has to be a working email address that you can actually access, because you will be getting a PIN sent to that. It's also used for things like password reset emails and that sort of thing. Okay, so once you've entered an email address, you're going to get a PIN at that address. You'll enter the PIN on the next screen that comes up, and then finally you have to enter a password for your new community-only account. The user ID defaults to the email address that you gave. I actually recommend that you just leave it at that. That's not displayed anywhere in the forums. You're going to enter a screen name on the next screen that will be displayed with all your posts. What you are going to want to do here is enter a good, strong password. You can follow the recommendations there, but I recommend make it even stronger than that, longer than 8 characters, numbers, letters, and special characters as well. Next is entering a screen name that you essentially are going to want to use for this account and whatever post you make. Again, just come up with something there that's easy for you to remember. It's kind of a little catchy perhaps, but do use common sense. Don't use anything vulgar, offensive, or anything that violates the terms of service. Once you're in your account forum, especially if you're a community-only member, go to your profile and try and set up any security questions or telephone numbers, email addresses that you need to there. So that sums up what you need to know to sign up for the Verizon Community Forums. Hope to see everyone in there, and happy posting.